While I'm here on the slide, let me go ahead and take this last little point and just throw in the principle of least surprise. In general, don't make programmers say, whoa, that's not what I expected that to be. Try to make things intuitive and useful. Okay, so just three quick examples. Syntax, semantics, pragmatics. So syntax, let me go and leave the slideshow here, pull up a JShow window. Da, 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 da. Okay, so here's an example. In Java, I can go ahead and type Java expressions here in this window here. I can say 45 and it comes back 45. You can do, you can call substring or do whatever you want, any Java expression. Okay, so how about I'll put in 20, and what does the 20 evaluate to? 16. This is a syntax error. That leading 0, you might be able to guess. Make a guess. 16 is 2 8s. Oh, 020 is an octal numeral. 064s, 2 8s, and 0 1s makes 16. Okay, so yeah, in Java, if you, this maybe is not the greatest example. It's not, once you're an experienced Java person and you know that a leading 0 and a literal in your program means octal, then this isn't surprising, but it's maybe a little bit surprising at first. Maybe there should be some little bit more obvious cue that this is octal. By the way, notice that something like integer.parseInt of the string 020, that's a different beast. That comes back and gives me 20. 020 is the literal int in my source code. 020, if I read that from a keyboard or a file and say, hey, take these characters, turn them into a string, that's a subtly different process that's happening at runtime, whereas stuff in my source code is happening at compile time. So, okay. So that's one example of a surprising syntactic issue. Surprising semantic issue. Previously, I made a variable of type double called x, okay? And I'm not going to show you, I assigned to x. Is x equal to x? Of course, and everything is equal to itself, right? This can't not be true, except it's false. Oh my gosh, what's going on? What is the value of x? There's one value of x that's not equal to itself, and that's the special value, not a number. Double.nan is the named constant for that. This is actually part of the IEEE floating point standard, is how doubles are supposed to work according to the standard, and I'll actually agree, this is actually the right answer. Not a number is things like when you take the log of -3, or you take infinity minus infinity, you get not a number coming out, and once you have not a number, everything is off. It's not equal to anything. You've done something really wrong, and you shouldn't consider that equal to anything else. So infinity minus infinity should not be equal to log of -3. In fact, infinity minus infinity should not be equal to, try it again, try infinity minus infinity. Well, maybe that first infinity was 3 plus infinity minus infinity. Who knows? This is the right answer. A little bit surprising semantics if you don't know about it. Then you think about, the fact that we have not a number and that is a double. Well, okay, maybe it's the right semantics. Still a little bit surprising that some value is not equal to itself. Okay. And then finally, as far as pragmatics, a surprising pragmatics thing, let me go ahead and try, let me make a set called s. So set is, this is a Java util set object. Okay, and I'm going to go assign to s. I'm going to make a new hash set. I didn't give a type of that. Okay, that's fine. New hash set here. Okay, s is an empty set. It prints as bracket bracket. That's fine. S.add. I can add any object. This is a set of objects since I didn't annotate it. It turns out, null, even though it's not an actual object, there's no fields hidden inside there, but null itself as an object reference, I can pass it in, and it will go ahead and add null to that collection. So it's giving me a warning here. Unchecked call. Oh, I see. This is because it doesn't really know what type. that is. So I'm getting that simply because I didn't say S was a set of bracket integer or a set of bracket hash set or something, a set of object. Okay, but yeah, went ahead and add it. Let me go ahead and say S gets new tree set of. I'm wondering now if I can do this to suppress that error message. Yeah, okay. S.add of null here. Null pointer exception. So I get a warning still coming back. Can't quite figure out the type of null. Can't double check that null really is the valid type, I guess. But separately, we're getting a null pointer exception. This is surprising. This is a library, and if you look at the documentation for the library, we'll all organize it. But I'm like, if I have two implementations of set, I should be able to swap one for the other and only have maybe a performance difference, not an actual semantic difference there. That surprises me as far as what the interface provided. Yeah, so it's probably a mistake that null should be allowed in any of these collections, but they have backwards compatibility. TreeSet tries to put things in a binary search tree, so it actually tries to call a compare method on null, I guess. I don't know. For whatever reasons, they decided to have that return an exception. So these are just some examples of places where the principle of least surprise is being violated. We don't like that. I don't mean to pick on Java. There's a lot of, you can find a lot of languages. Some languages are a little bit more prone to surprises than others. I think PHP takes the cake in surprising semantics, mostly dealing with implicit type conversions. But anyway, there are other resources. I'll mention that if you, the Radford Java 3, iTech 324, you may have used a book by Horstman called, what was the name? Object-Oriented Design and Patterns. That particular book is actually, he has good design principles and then gives examples often from the Java standard library of violations of those examples. And he has, a bunch of really good points there. So, the book Java Puzzlers, which I made optional for this programming languages class, you can think of that whole book as almost being violations of the principles of least surprise. So anyway, decided a bunch of some side topics, but sort of interesting things that can come up.